Details of Matt Reeves' next Batman adaptation are starting to emerge. The director discussed the exact comics that influenced his take on the character, picking up the slack after the dismal Ben Affleck era and public reaction to Robert Pattinson's casting in an interview with Esquire UK. He also revealed that the trailer soundtrack, Nirvana, Something's in the Way, is more than just a grungy, down-tempo mood setter, part of a larger storytelling purpose. When I considered how do you do Bruce Wayne in a way that hasn't been seen before, I started thinking, what if some tragedy just happened? Just like when Wayne sees his parents murdered, and this guy becomes so reclusive, we don't know what he's doing. Is this guy some kind of wayward, reckless drug addict? Reeves said. The truth is that he is kind of a drug addict. His drug is the addiction to drive his revenge. He's like Batman Kurt Cobain. The critically acclaimed 1987 comic Batman, Year One, which focuses on the superhero's early years combating crime in Gotham, as well as gritty 1970s thriller like Taxi Driver, Chinatown, and The French Connection, were among Reeves' influence. Pattinson stated he's excited by how seriously Reeves' movie take the world's greatest detective part of the Batman persona and digs into noir in a Movie Maker magazine story on the picture. Reeves also said that seeing Pattinson in Safdie brothers' movie Good Times convinced him that he could channel the necessary rage. Pattinson turned out to be a huge Batman fan, and he even wore the identical suit that Val Kilmer wore in 1995's Batman's Revenge. The people who weren't excited, I knew it was because they didn't know Rob's work post-Twilight. He also explained that the eyeliner Pattinson wears under his mask was a very intentional choice. I just loved the idea of the off the mask and under that there's the sweating and the dripping and the whole theatrical of becoming this character. Reeves also opened up about watching Zack Snyder and Ben Affleck's version of Batman, which made a lot of money but didn't satisfy all of the reviewers and fans. He claimed that Affleck had been working on his own script, but that when Reeves took over, he wanted to separate the character from the rest of the Justice League and do something unique. I respect that the DC universe has become an extended universe and all the movies were kind of connected, but another Batman film, it shouldn't have to carry the weight of connecting the characters from all of those other movies, Reeves explained. I didn't want them in there. Looking forward to how this Batman film will turn out. It's definitely something to look forward to. Here are a few details we would want to share about this movie that you might want to know in order to catch up. Just like what we've mentioned before, this all-new Batman won't be connected to the other Batman movies and won't be part of the DC Extended Universe. According to the latest edition of Empire, via Slash Film, Reeves argued for the film's independence during a conversation with Ben Affleck over the director's chair, emphasizing how ultimate creative freedom was the only way to bring Batman to his emotional edge. Meanwhile, Ben Affleck, who played Batman in both Batman vs. Superman and Justice League, was in talks to direct a standalone Batman picture. Deathstroke and Batgirl, played by Joe Manganiello, were reported to be in Affleck's picture. But it was shelved after he stepped down as a director and was replaced by Reeves, because being connected to a bigger world would prevent him from exploring the vigilante tale through more personal lenses. Reeves, who was in charge of the Batman solo feature, demanded total independence from Affleck and Warner Brothers. In order to keep the focus on Batman's emotional journey, Reeves didn't want to feel forced to link to other films, according to Empire. Consequently, the project became a semi-origin narrative, complete with an addition of a new star, allowing it to explore new areas of DC mythology. Dylan Clark, the producer of Batman, describes it this way. Warner Brothers has a multiverse where they're exploring different ways to use the characters, and we don't get involved in that. Matt is interested in pushing this character to his emotional depth and shaking him to his core. Another unique thing about this new Batman movie is that the origin tale will not be retold in this movie. In contrast, the Batman will not be a rehash of the well-known origin narrative. I wanted to do not an origin tale, but a tale that would still acknowledge his origins in that it formed who he is. Director Matt Reeves stated in an interview with Nerdist. What evidence do you have that your strategy is sound? It's best seen in the Batsuit teaser, which shows what appears to be a Batman logo made out of gun parts. Is it possible that this is the same weapon that murdered Bruce's parents in Crime Alley? 3 comic books that served as inspiration for the film were also disclosed. Among these are Batman: The Long Halloween and Batman Ego and Other Tales by Darwin Cook, and Batman Year One by Frank Miller. The Long Halloween is a detective story with a wide range of enemies, whereas Year One is an origin story for both Batman and Catwoman that concerns corruption in the GCPD. Ego watches Bruce's psyche split between man and vigilante as he tries to retire as Batman. When both sides of Bruce's personality get into a fight, his feelings regarding his flaws are revealed. These characteristics appear to match the teaser video's description of a bleak, psychological, and grounded detective thriller. According to the actor who plays Alfred, Andy Serkis, that's really at the center of it, and we should expect an emotional connection between Alfred and Bruce. In case you missed it, the official trailer was already released. The first official trailer for Batman: Arkham Asylum has arrived, and it's violent, action-packed, terrifying, and revealing in every way. If you think it's promising now, wait till you realize that every shot in the Batman trailer was taken with only 25 to 30% of the film completed. With and without the mask on, we now have a clear view of Robert Pattinson as the Caped Crusader. There's also a look at Paul Dano's Riddler, and according to Reeves, we know not to expect anything like Jim Carrey's Riddler. Paul Dano plays a version of the Riddler that no one has ever seen before. What he is doing is going to blow people's minds, said Reeves following the reveal. The director also touched on interactions between so many different Batman characters coming together for the latest flick. How all these characters connect was one of the really interesting things about writing this movie, Reeves said. With Commissioner Gordon, Selina Kyle, and the Penguin all set to play some role in the Batman, expect nothing short of a high-octane thrill ride from start to finish. Speaking about the villain in the movie, despite the teaser's best efforts to keep Paul Dano's face hidden, the actor's presence can be felt throughout the second trailer for the Batman. That's because Edward Nashton, commonly known as the Riddler, the main villain of the Batman, will be played by the famous actor from There Will Be Blood. Dano's portrayal of the Riddler, like many of the Batman's characters, promises to be far darker than the comic book fans are accustomed to. Thanks to famed real-life monsters like the Zodiac Murderer, the architect of Dano's Nashton is considered to be a fearsome foe, one who appears capable of inflicting havoc on all of Gotham City from the confines of a jail cell. What's Batman without Catwoman? In a trailer for the Batman, Zoe Kravitz has been cast as Catwoman. Not only does Batman call her Selina, but she also makes several cat references. The relationship between Batman and Catwoman, on the other hand, appears to be exceedingly complicated, as evidenced by the teaser. They always seem to be on the verge of kissing, and everything she says to him implies she's flirting with him. However, there is a scene in which Alfred asks him if he has a new companion, and he says he isn't sure. The camaraderie between these two, on the other hand, is clearly a major plot in the Batman. Of course, this form of interaction makes sense and is in keeping with the comics. Both Batman and Catwoman are meant to be flawed characters who aren't always the best at establishing positive interpersonal connection. With these two factors are combined, it creates a puzzling, if not painful, situation in which we all know they want each other, yet hesitate to commit fully to one another. Release date. The release date for Batman has shifted several times. This film was supposed to be released on June 25, 2021, but due to the coronavirus pandemic, the release date was pushed back to October 1, 2021. However, in September, a member of the crew was diagnosed with COVID, requiring the film's production to pause and the cinema release date to be pushed back once again. The film's new release date will be on March 4th, 2022. Now, that's a wrap. We are all looking forward to this new approach to Batman. What are your thoughts for this new Batman movie? Let us know in the comment section down below. We hope you guys liked this video. Stay tuned for more. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.